Welcome back to the Downtown Royalty Podcast. Our special guest this week is Mr. Samuel Pack. If you're from the area, you know him, you love him. The guy carries a positive energy about him. We're super excited to have him on to talk about some of the things going on in this lovely city of ours, Wichita Falls.
Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you never miss anything that we release. Be sure to follow, like, and share every single thing that we do because we've got some very interesting people coming up on our show that you might be pretty surprised by. For this video in particular, make sure you stay all the way to the end because some of the things that Sam says might end up shocking you. With that being said, let's get this thing started.
Welcome to the Downtown Royalty Podcast.
We thought it was going to end up just being a rhythm section night, but we got everybody coming, so it's nice. Sam, thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah, thanks.
We started doing this podcast in the hopes of just like communicating with the people that we know around town that have a good head on their shoulders and want to have a good conversation. So I mean, we have some thoughts and some feelings about a lot of the stuff that's been going on. You've been talking about, man. I mean, just that we've kind of started touching a little bit on it already.
Yeah.
Being born and raised here in Wichita Falls, I think so many good things have come and gone, man. And like, I think the years go by, we see them trickle off like the Falls Fests and the bigger festivals that we have. And like, what in your heart and mind makes you think that we could do something better? What thinks is going to lead us down the right path?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think one of the most underrated things about Wichita Falls is the talent that we have here. Like,
Agreed.
and I'm not trying to pat you guys on the back, but I think you guys are an amazing band. I think
Thanks,
you guys would make
Thanks,
it
man.
anywhere. And I've said that for years, and I'm critical. Even when you guys had band practice, I'm like, hey man, I'm critical about stuff, but I think you guys are the best band that Wichita Falls has produced, and maybe with Bowling for Soup and stuff, I still think you're better.
Hey, we claim Wichita.
Not to downplay Bowling for Soup
sure.
or anything, but
We
I mean,
actually claim Wichita.
yeah, but no, you just have a genuine feel about your music, and I think, like, not just the music, I think the art scene. I think we have amazing artists here too.
Oh yeah, blessed.
And so, like, how do we? So one of my goals, I was on the Arts Alliance. I was on the original board there, and one of the goals I really wanted to do is make Wichita Falls like in northern Austin.
Sure.
Like, Texas is huge, right? I mean, the distance from Wichita Falls to Austin is like the distance from like New York to 5 other states away.
Yeah.
Right.
So to say, oh, we have a music festival in Austin, like, no, that's a whole nother
It's a whole other world.
that's a whole nother world down there. But why can't we make something amazing here? And so I think that I would love to see a music festival here to really showcase all our musicians and have the world hear you guys and go, dang, there's some really good artists up in North Texas. And not just music, our murals. We have muralists, we have painters, we have amazing artists that
Absolutely.
I think that people just underestimate. And I hate this idea like, oh, you're from Wichita Falls, it can't be good. No, man, dude, there's some awesome stuff here.
Hidden gems. And that was like one of my favorite things. Like when you started to see the sidewalk, the walkways being painted downtown, you're like, oh, that's cool. And it was just such a minute thing, but that's how different the tone was, right? Like for so many years, it was like suppressive in a way, And like you said, you were here in '88, right? And there was no.
What year were you born?
'87.
Okay.
So but like you were saying
A year
that you were mentioning that like there was like these art studios downtown that you didn't even know about because it's a lack of like support there was a major lack of support for artists in the community for so many years.
Yeah.
And I think even when we were in mid 2010, like right about, started playing shows, and we were another group, and like oh man, there's a pretty good amount of places for us to play here in town.
Yeah.
And then downtown started building back up, and there was like all these festivals happening, and we got to play these festivals, and we got all this we got attention for what our art was. And then you had like Art and Soul Festival, which was like pre-Art Walk.
Yep.
And that was like, dude, that's what community is based on, culture, which culture is art, right?
We got to grow with the city, man. That's what's so cool. And when we were looking at names, that was a really in-depth process for us. And the the one thing that we could agree on is we want to represent the growth of downtown in our city, and that's something that's kind of important to us because we felt that fire that I feel bad saying was going because it kind of feels like it's a little bit suppressed than it has been lately. But that doesn't mean that it's out. It's still, there's new businesses. They got Rack House that's going down there. There's constantly things that are happening downtown. It just gets to the thing with this town that people, and not just Wichita Falls, people have to choose to go have fun sometimes. I can set everything up for you and say, all you got to do is show up and I'll give you everything you need. And people still won't do it, So I think a lot of people's complaints around here, especially whether it's with music or the arts or the not having this and not having that, when they do bring that kind of stuff here, people sit at their house and then they ask their friend how it was the next day. That's not supporting something. That's not supporting your community. Yeah, tickets might have been $25, but you knew it was coming for 3 months and you've been talking about it on rants and raves and everywhere else for 3 months. So why can't you spend that $30 and go actually support it instead of just being upset that the things aren't here? We want to be a part of the change.
There's this mentality that you can't be a prophet in your own town. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Like you guys could be the next Jimi Hendrix or whatever, but because you're from here, okay, they're good, but I'm not gonna go see them. And I hate that mentality. I'm like, go see them before they make it huge because they're amazing. Like whatever that is, there's some amazing artists here, and I agree with that. Like there's this. How do we get over the hump that there's nothing to do in Wichita Falls? And I hate when people tell that to me. I'm like, dude, I can tell you there's 5
so
things
much
going on right now that are amazing that you can be at on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And so it's just, we just need to have a little bit more pride in who we are. And, speaking of the art walk, it needs to be community led. Like all the stuff, you said it earlier, we're talking about movies and robots. Find a need, fill a need. Mm-hmm. What can we do to fix it? And I'm tired of people saying, well, there's nothing to do. Well, then do something about it. You do something about it. Instead of complaining about it, fix it.
Exactly.
Fix it to what you want it to look like, not you're waiting for someone else to do it for you. You might get some pushback. But you know what? What did you say earlier? There's always a way around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, where you see a gatekeeper, I see a way around it.
Yeah, that's right. There's people who will always naysay whatever you do. I promise you. They'll go, you can't do it. Or you're from here, or you're not smart enough, or you're not part of this group. Whatever. The trailblazers are the one who make their own.
Exactly.
Very true.
Yeah. In fact, we've kind of run into kind of situations very similarly. Like even here in Wichita, where one venue told us that if we played 4 times in the year here, we'd be oversaturating the market, which to me is frankly astounding.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so if we're going to talk about developing the city and developing downtown, which relies on culture, and where do you get culture from? Well, you get it from your artists, and you get it from your musicians, and you get it from your local businesses. Then how can you ever intend on developing a culture and creating a culture when a band can't play 4 times in this town? And you want to know what I said when I heard that? That's absurd.
It's a defeatist attitude.
That's absurd.
You know how many times we used to pack the patio at Toby's?
Yeah.
Not just us, but Dr. Philgood and anybody that used to play out there.
Anyone that would
play out
There's
there.
a culture out there.
And it kind of used to be the spot there for a little while. Is just be like, what are you doing? Hey, let's go see who's playing here. You didn't look on Facebook or anything else. You just knew that it was going to happen, and you show up. And so many things come from that and grow from that kind of thing. But you have to support the city for the city to be able to support you too.
Yeah.
It's really easy to complain about something, right? But I find that oftentimes the best thing to do is to offer, a strategy to get forward. What does your strategy look like to help create not just a culture for us or other musicians, but artists, local businesses, to draw people in from outside of Wichita Falls to actually think, hey, there's something really special going on in North Texas right now.
This is about a 3-hour-long conversation.
It doesn't.
But
we can go as long as we want.
Hey, we can.
I'll say,
man.
I'll say it like this. Sam packs 5 steps for improving Wichita Falls.
I don't know if I want to say all this on camera and
Sure.
get pushed back, but
I would say just reference the same truth that you've already spoke.
Okay,
You
well,
know?
here's what I'll say. I think first we need economic development, okay, because our average income, so everyone likes to compare us to Abilene, but Abilene has a median household income about $12,000 per household. But that means that's $12,000 more of discretionary spending to go out and see bands, to go out and do stuff, to go out and eat, to go out and do all this other stuff. So we need economic development. And for the longest time, and we used to be a manufacturing lane. So we had Howmet, Delphi, Saint-Gobain, Cryovac, all this other stuff. But what we've seen in the last 25 years is that we've seen these companies go to other countries because it's cheaper for labor and all that. And we haven't really replaced those jobs. We're talking about primary job income of about $60,000 to $80,000 a year for someone to be here. So we have to do a better job in economic development. And we've talked about this earlier, that our population has been the same since like 1960, 1950.
50s, yeah.
Years.
Yeah, 50s.
And so,
years.
and we're the only city in the entire country that's got a university and a military base that hasn't grown. This is not to blame anyone, but I mean, if we did nothing and didn't suppress it, it should have grown naturally.
Right. Great point.
But we have this idea that we are going to keep it the way it's always been. And I hate that. And people know that's not the way we've done it. I've had people talk to me and say, Sam, that's not the right format. Like, your format doesn't work.
Right.
It hasn't worked. So yeah, I'm the guy who tries to bring ideas like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself.
Right.
So I took over the Hub because so the Hub was a magazine that was we had up to 2020 before the COVID, because I really wanted to promote the art. I'm like, I see something here. So I really pushed out the artists, the musicians, and the stuff that's happening because and while that was going, we saw downtown growing, and we all saw it. And then COVID hit, and then everything kind of shut down, and a lot of business didn't make it out of that. But I still think there's momentum. The talent's still there. Nothing has changed.
Right.
So how do we get back on board? How do we fix that? We need economic development. We need people to have money. We need. This is going to get like political and understanding. But Wichita Falls is primed to grow.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Here's the absolute reason why. If you get the United States and you fold it in half, Wichita Falls is right there.
Yep.
Okay? Texas is at the northernmost part of, Wichita Falls is at the northernmost part of Texas.
Correct.
That means we have all the Texas tax benefits, but 10 miles away, there's another state.
So we can go to the casino, baby.
So if you want, so if these companies, so what's happening on the economic development side is in the last 15, 20 years, we've seen all these companies come from California to Texas. Why? Because of our tax rates, right? So we're seeing them come. But Dallas, Austin, and Houston, Houston, Austin, and Dallas are the 1, 5, and 7 cities of people leaving because it's so crowded.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like the roadways are awful. My cousins live there, and I hate driving in any of those places because you're stuck. They say Dallas is about 2 hours away from Dallas.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And so people are leaving there, and these companies that are coming in from the economic development standpoint, when they come in to visit Texas, they look at those what we call the Golden Triangle, right? Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Austin, and Houston. And if they can't make it there, then they go to other states. So some companies have done site visits in Texas in those 3 areas, and then went on to New Jersey, other states that have good tax benefits. What we need to do as a state is really help. I'm talking about our state legislators in helping build mid-sized cities. Abilene, Lubbock, Amarillo, Tyler, Wichita Falls. Those cities can have the capacity to absorb those companies and grow. Okay. So what do we need to do as Wichita Falls? We need to do a better job in economic development to entice them to come here. What the state needs to do is help build road infrastructures. We need to make 287 an interstate. Okay, so there's I-35. I-35 is what we call the NAFTA corridor. That's where Mexico and Canada all line up. So we do a lot of trade, but anyone who's driven I-35, it's a mess. There's always a car accident. There's always delays.
It's always under construction.
It's always under construction. What we should do is make 287 a side corridor, a capillary road that goes north and south, just like 35, but offers an easier roadway. So it relieves the pressure of 35. If you do that, then all the cities along that route will also grow. But guess what? Wichita Falls, this is where the I-44 that goes up to Oklahoma.
Yes.
For distribution and logistics, we're the perfect spot. Because again, we're northernmost part. We can go north, south, east, and west.
Right.
And we're right there. So we can grow this naturally. We have, like I said, talent. We have an educated base with MSU. We have Shepherd, who people want to retire because it's a great community. It's a great place to raise families. It almost seems like we are purposely keeping it small because it should grow on its own, and then not utilizing our geographic benefits that we have to really exploit and grow. We could easily be a 300,000 person town easily, and still maintain the non-traffic and
No, we were just out in Amarillo this last weekend, and
Yeah.
it's 300,000 out there, and
Yeah.
It feels a lot like Wichita Falls.
Yeah,
it's
like Wichita Falls' Big Brother.
Yeah,
What
I
is
said
it?
Soncy is Kent.
Yeah,
You know, if you guys know Amarillo or
Yeah.
not, like it basically is. You know, that's where the main stuff is. So.
So I wrote a business plan for the city because I ran for city council and said,
Right.
look, there's a couple of initiatives that the state has that we could do to improve these road infrastructures.
Yeah.
The next thing is water. We do need water.
Yeah.
But we get those two things in place, we should be like bringing people in, and we need a more active economic development, because we had a person who, he's no longer here, but would sit along and go, hey, we're fitting this rubric, a way that companies will look at where to move.
Right.
Like, no, man. You know how business is done? Hey, you want to go play golf?
Exactly.
You want to go have some lunch with me?
Right.
Let's go hang out.
Yeah.
Go to them. Talk to them. Hey, we've got an amazing place. Come see us. And bring them in. Bring them in during an art walk where you see a robust community that gets together, that's diverse, that cares about each other, and families can walk around and people can enjoy art and music. That's what brings people in. It's quality of life. So how do we need to grow? I think we need economic development. I think we need to really embrace the fact that we have talent here. I think that, again, people always think talent somewhere else. No, we have talent here.
And talent's variable. It doesn't matter if you look for restaurant management talent. It doesn't matter if you're construction talent. We have a ton of talent. We have some great builders here.
Yep.
We have some great.
The last thing I would say is we need to let the old guard go.
Yep.
And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't know if you're watching this, but there's people that they've been in control for this town. They can have different names and different people in the positions, but it's the same mentality.
Right. Right.
So
I
we need to gently say, hey, let the younger people, allow them to develop and grow this town.
Well, it's really interesting, man. Like, and I hope they are watching this for several reasons.
Yeah.
Blur
But
my
one-
face out.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna put
change my voice.
Something like this. We don't know who
Well,
it is
it's
anymore.
interesting. Like before having this conversation, I never really met you before today.
Yeah.
But I did do my due diligence and did some research and looked at like what your plan was when you're running for city council, and I was like, well, this stuff makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
it's
But
crazy,
so I
right?
just had to do my own digging, right? And it's just
Yeah.
like 60% of people in Wichita Falls are under the age, or 44 and under. Okay, but it seems like our economic policies and our civil policies are not aimed at benefiting that demographic. And so to me, so I asked someone. I was like, I just happened to be by someone. I was like, hey, what do you think the median age in Wichita Falls is? And they're like, it's got to be. I mean, there's a lot of old people here. It's got to be like in the 50s. It's 33. The median age in Wichita Falls is 33 years old.
But the median age, so there's a huge discrepancy. We have a lot of young people and we have a little older retired people.
Agreed.
It's that middle that we're kind of
Agreed.
missing.
But when you look at that older population, I mean, over the age of 65 is only like 18%.
Yeah.
So like we do have is certainly a retirement community for sure. I mean, we have people who came here for Shepherd and then remembered this place and hey, it was cheap. It was a great place to
We just
go
got
back
named
to,
the
for
best
sure.
place to retire. Did you see that article?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
And
yeah.
okay, I hate to say that. That's the worst article we could be written about us.
Yeah.
You know why?
Just nothing to do.
No. It's because
Come here and die.
because they base it upon how much it costs to live, and we do have a lower cost of living, but and not to discount older people,
Right.
but I don't want people just coming here and living on Social Security. It means that they'll never go out and spend money and go do and see bands and go support or whatever. I want it to be a lot of younger. So we need to attract. You're absolutely right. What are we doing? And so we have an attrition rate, right? Because whenever you grew up in high school, because you grew up here, how many of your friends go, I'm leaving Wichita Falls as soon as I can?
Oh, so many of them.
Yeah, right?
So many of
And
them.
then how many have seen them come back?
Plenty of them.
Yeah, right? How do we change that mentality? How do we change? It's a paradigm shift of how do you fix that problem? How you fix that problem? And this is what I wrote in my business plan. We need downtown to be a vibrant community. Because why? Because when I turned 18, I went to Deep Ellum, right? Because
Exactly.
I was like, I'm going to go somewhere where it's
I'm
cool.
going somewhere fun.
Yeah. So it was that psychological rite of passage for me to go, once I hit 18, I can be part of this community. We didn't have that here. 18-year-old kids or 16-year-old kids didn't have that, oh, once I grow up, I want to be part of this group of Wichita Falls people that are adults. It's it's proven. Like there's Aborigines who are jumping out of trees with rope tied around their ankles when they're 15, and then once they land, they're an adult. But it's that rite of passage.
Right.
It's that feeling that you get.
Agreed.
So how do we fulfill that need here? And so that's why I've been a huge proponent of downtown. Like we need to have that go, hey, once I turn 18, I want to go downtown and be part of that music scene, the art scene. I want to go, I don't have to leave.
Yeah.
So how do we stop them from leaving? People who graduate from MSU, I want them to go, I don't want to leave here. It's awesome here. Austin grew not because they have an amazing geographic place. They grew because University of Texas, people go, oh, I like it here. There's music, there's things to do here. So it grew because of the culture there. How do we change the culture?
I think even in that same context, like it's not, our city is wide enough, square footage, square mileage wise that, there's two parts of town, and even if it's not downtown, like what's going to draw people to the middle part of town? It's going to draw people over to the northern side of town. Like like the parks are a huge thing too. Like we have so many good parks here. When they're well maintained and well taken care of, they're a great place to go.
Yeah.
And I'll go out and play disc golf, and it's throw your responsibility, it's not going to throw, but like that's one of the things I recognize right off the rip is like, dude, if I go out of town to Colorado, so I head up to Colorado and go see a show, and I go to one of those city parks, everything's well maintained.
Immaculate.
And it's not even a big city. Like,
Yeah.
We stopped. I can't remember what city it was. It was probably an hour outside of, maybe 2 hours outside of Denver. So not even, Wichita
Fort
Falls to
Collins?
Dallas, right? Yeah, I think so actually.
Yeah, I
And we
love
played
Fort
around in
Collins.
golf there, and
Yeah.
and it
Might
was
even have been Pueblo. I'm not sure.
yeah, it was way
That was
earlier.
south. Yeah.
Nevertheless,
we were on our way up to
we were
Denver.
far enough away from the big city for it not to be the big city,
Yeah.
And it's just like us here. We're not the big city, but when you see that extra bit of care in those things, you notice, oh, they probably have a culture here for the outdoor community. People actually want to go take their kids, walk them down the park. Like it's the growth of the city and the artistry of the city is not just one area of town. This whole city like breaks itself apart. It's about like how can we get everybody on the same page to do something productive for everybody, right? I mean, that's the way I see
You
it.
mentioned culture, man. Like, I find that really interesting because that's kind of like the vein that we live in, right? What does culture mean to you in regards to how it affects the city? And on top of that, what would be your plan for turning that culture around? Both the culture of like, man, boo-hoo, this place blows, and the culture of like, how do we create that art culture? Because it's no accident that Dallas has Deep Ellum, and it's no accident that Dallas has Bishop Arts District, right? I mean,
So we have to make baby steps. If
Sure.
you read my business plan too, then you know this. I think one thing that we could do kind of easily to start we have to have building blocks. I really want to make downtown the mural capital of the world.
That'd be sweet.
How cool would that be? And I know we have historical districts. We can't change the facade, but we can put brackets up and put this big painting there where there's a butterfly. You can stand right here and you can take pictures. Or there's a abstract art, or there's a shark about to eat you.
yeah.
I'm telling you, those little things, people will come to it. Our mural that we put in on the parking garage, together we're better.
That won
Yeah.
awards all over the place.
I've walked, so I work downtown. I'll walk because I'm a pretty gregarious guy. I talk to people and I'll stop people and, hey, what are you doing here? Like, oh, we drove in from wherever to see this. It brings people in. So I would really like to have a dedicated, like we are the mural capital of downtown mural capital of the world. You have muralists coming around, and then we can switch. We can turn them around, and there's one for summer, there's one for winter, and have people come in and feel like, oh, this is cool.
Fresh.
So we start there, and then we build and go, hey, while you're here, come listen to some man's music. While you're here, stay the night. While you're here, go get something to eat. While you're here, hey, why don't you bring your family here? Because how cool of a place this is.
Right.
So it's not like a dramatic change. We can't just go, okay, we're going to change everything. It's going to start. We have to have a catalyst. We have to start somewhere. So I really think that if we can start something with a mural capital of downtown mural capital of the world, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Muralists. Can we get a Banksy to come down here? If you're watching this, Banksy, please come here.
Please come to Wichita Falls, thanks.
Yeah, come here, put a mural. I guarantee you, I'll find you a building to depend on and help our community. Just understand what the value of art is to economic development.
Very true.
Well, it's like a saying that I say around here all the time. It's like, how do you eat an elephant, man? One bite at a time.
Yeah.
I agree with your point on. I've always said that growth in Wichita Falls doesn't even have to come from the people that live here every single day, But like, let's kind of tie this in full circle. When we went to that thing in Colorado, we stopped at this park. That wasn't even part of our trip that we were planning on doing. We're like, let's stretch our legs a little bit. Let's play here. We went to the park, and we were like, that was probably one of the nicest parks that we stopped at the whole time, and we planned everything else out like meticulously. And then we speak highly on it, and because of that, we'll probably stop there again. Yeah. And then we'll eat lunch, and then we'll do this and that. Wichita Falls, I always said as a kid, I grew up in Austin. You drive through Wichita Falls coming from so many places across Texas to get north.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how many people come through here. I would tell a funny story. I went on a ski college trip back when I was like a freshman or sophomore through the University of Texas and Texas A&M called UB Ski. I drove home from my house off of City View Road and got to Austin, slept overnight, woke up the next morning, got on a charter bus, drove right past my house the next day on a charter bus, because we were going up to the Denver area, but so the point of that is so many people drive through Wichita Falls that if we had a reason for them to stop for 10 minutes, and look at the falls, look at the murals.
Come to the mural capital. Stop here for a
Stop
second.
at Buc-ee's, whatever it might be, something like that. I think that little tiny thing would help Wichita Falls grow because that's what happened with me with Oklahoma City. I went there a couple times and it was like, I don't know anything about this. Screw Oklahoma, like classic old Texan mentality. Yeah. And then I went once and I was like,
this place is rad.
This is pretty good. I went again and I was like, I need to plan like 3-5 days here. And then I started doing some research. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool, and that's what Wichita Falls has to offer that a lot of other places do. I have family all over. I have family in Lubbock and San Antonio, and it's neat to see because I see their struggles. My family in Lubbock, they're like, everything's pretty much like nothing is even like within 2 hours of anything, and I was like, oh, we have Dallas and we have Oklahoma City, and we can go this way, we can go that way, we can go to Amarillo and hit all this stuff where they have nothing. San Antonio, you have your traffic, and then below that, there's not a lot, but Wichita Falls, you really can be the central hub jumping off point to go whatever expedition you want to go on, which is great for us as a band. We can travel where we want to go, and we can set off a bomb here, and if you have a calling here, we'll show up. We'll find a way to get there, whether it's Oklahoma City or whether it's Germany. We want to show up everywhere.
Well, and the cool thing too, and it relates to everything though, is like if you just draw like a 6-hour radius, which isn't like a bad drive, honestly, from Wichita Falls, and just do a 6-hour radius.
You're almost
like
at the beach,
all of the cities that you hit.
Yeah.
It's up. I mean, you can be all the way up in Tulsa. It's 4 hours away.
Yeah.
It's like
insane.
It's not.
You can hit like 6 different states or something.
Look at the Dakotas. You go for just nothing forever and ever. You even get out to El Paso area and it's just nothing forever and ever and ever and ever. So we really, Wichita Falls really is blessed that we have a lot to offer and things to do. You can't listen to it's like a fog, like a heavy fog that's just been here for years and years. And like you said, it just needs to blow out and everybody just catch a breath and look around and be like, oh, wow, look how beautiful the sky is. This isn't LA where it's disgusting.
Yeah.
We have so much to offer.
I've been offered I get 5 calls a week asking me to run an office down in Dallas.
Good.
And I'm like, no, I like it here. Like I genuinely I like it. I like the people here.
Yeah.
I like 99% of the people here.
And that's something I've always said too. I'm born and raised here, man. I've seen in the last 38 years, I've seen a pretty fair amount of changes that I can recall. And, you know, like, and being like a part of the community that can help facilitate that, as far as like drawing people here, like it means a lot to me to know that there's people out there that care so much.
Yeah.
And like, and if there was like 5 other Sam Packs around here, dude,
Man.
can you imagine the things the way that things would be a little bit different?
Do you know how much
You know?
pushback I get all the time?
And
I get pushback. I got pushback 3 times today.
Man, and it's so wild because I feel like I've known you for a few amount of years now, and I think that you're like one of the most like even kiltered, logical, like central frame of minds, like when it comes to the goodness for everybody
Thank you.
around him, and that's like when I saw your post and we had started the podcast. Him and I were just like, who can we get in here? Who we should invite? I was like, dude, I want to invite everybody that somebody has something bad to say about them, or somebody that I know personally is great. You know, and like whenever I saw your post, I was like, dude, we should just get him back on there so you can kind of like put his mind back out there, because people need to hear a fresh set of ideas more than once to get it. You know, and it's one of the, you know, the toughest part about our town is like people, they forget how hard people work to make things better. Instead of like diving into it, they just.
So going back to the art walk.
I was just about to bring you back to that.
So how that started is actually a lady named Janelle. She started she has a studio on 7th Street, and she's doing art, and then she asked permission to put it out on the sidewalk. And she had it going for a couple weeks, but there wasn't a lot of traffic. And then my wife, well, I was dating my wife then at the time. She goes, let's go downtown and go look in the art studio. I go, okay. So they have free wine. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. You know, free wine and look at art.
Sure.
So I went there, and that's the first time I realized the talent of artists. Like, I'm talking like really good art. I've visited the Louvre, I've visited the MoMA in New York, and the MoMA in LA, and I was looking through the art. I'm like, dang, there's really they're like painting happy, smiley, you know, background, like really good artists, like really good artists here. I'm like, we need to promote this. So me and my wife, we sat down together, and Janelle go, we need the world to know this, because I've been part of Wichita Falls for years, and I didn't even know they existed. And so what you were saying earlier is it just takes people to see need and fill it, and it only takes a couple people.
Yeah.
You can go back to Jesus, 12 disciples changed the world, right?
Yeah.
So
Still changing it.
yeah, but that art walk started, and then when we went out, we beat the streets, we begged businesses to stay open to past 5. I mean, it was dead downtown, and we pushed at it, and then after like 2 years, it grew, and it just kept growing, and it kept growing, and then after a while, like Becky asked if she could take the reins of it, and I said okay, because you know I'm on like 5 boards at the time, and I'm like, just you take care of it. So she took care of it for a couple of years, and it grew, and then the downtown development said, hey, can we have control of it? And so they got it, and it kept growing. So it went from maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people whenever I was pushing for it, to like 13,000 people, which is awesome. And it became more than just art. It became the social melting pot.
Yes.
People would go down there, not necessarily to look at art, which I think is great,
It was the thing to do.
but it was a thing to do. It brought community together.
The
And
whole
it-
community.
And it felt like you were part of the community. And I talked to several people who go, I'd leave Art Walk just happy I lived in town, because it made me feel good that I met new people. I met my friends. I met my friend's new friend, which now is my friend.
Right.
That's how this starts.
I saw Matt Carter riding around on some crazy bikes or something
Yeah.
like that. You see stuff you don't normally see. It's
and
cool.
it's cool because we're so, and especially in the world that we live today, it's all on our phone, and we see Facebook posts and Instagram posts, but when are we connecting, like meeting people, and people crave that.
Right.
Let's give it to them.
It's wild when you step outside your 4 walls what you can find.
Yeah.
You know.
So if you could catch me up, because I don't really understand what happened. Like I really don't. All I saw was on Facebook.
Okay,
So
so
they said something about they're canceling it. Everyone got mad. Obviously, they're going to. And then like, whoa,
how detailed do you want to go into this?
Very detailed.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the downtown development took over Art Walk. What happened a couple years ago, there was an incident where a guy drove his car down the road during Art Walk. So the city went to the downtown development and said, hey, look, this is getting kind of big, and it's not really monitored. we need you to have insurance because it's on city property. The streets and the sidewalks are city property. And so they said, hey, we need to have insurance. So downtown development said, okay. So they had Janice Mader. I mean, we had an executive director and people that worked there full time. But
Shout out to you guys.
But our 4A board, so back in 1996, we passed what we call 4A and 4B sales tax, which half a cent. So for every dollar, half a cent goes to 4A and 4B. So a quarter of a cent goes to 4A, a quarter of a cent goes to 4B.
Okay.
That's how. And the reason 4A is there is that money is to be used to help economic development, bringing new businesses in. But 4B is to help develop current businesses. So one's to bring in new businesses, one's to help the current businesses already in. So 4A was funding downtown development, and then they decided, hey, we're not really sure what the return of investment is for putting all this money in economic development downtown, and so they decided to cut funding. The downtown development then asked 4B, hey, we're doing all these things. We're doing Occasion Fest and St. Patrick's Day, and this is technically underneath your belt because we're helping economic development with the businesses that are already here. And they said, okay, we'll come back with a business plan, but at that time they were getting no funding, so they let go of Jana because they didn't have any money. So then it was being run by the board of directors for downtown development. So there's 7 volunteers, right? 7 board members. And they kept it going. So kudos to them because they would do art walk and clean up the streets at 1 o'clock in the morning by themselves and put all the stuff together. And all of them have jobs, like regular daytime jobs. It wasn't like it's a full-time job. They're not getting paid for it.
It's on Thursday.
It's on a Thursday. So they kind of got
work on Friday.
So righteously they got burnt out and go, look, man, we don't have the funds for it. And it cost us money because they were hiring police officers to make sure it's secure.
Right.
And paying them, $40, $50 an hour. So every art walk was costing the downtown development, and it was a negative income stream.
Right.
So they said we financially we can't keep doing this, and it's not like it's their fault. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so they announced that a couple weeks ago, and then because I helped start Art Walk, people started calling me and going, Sam, are you going to let this happen? Like,
Right.
I'm not in charge of it, but let's figure out some ways. And I had a meeting this past Monday, and I had it in a circle. I didn't have the city council sitting on one side. Like, this wasn't like a formal, like, no, this is our community.
Round table.
This is people. You're not more important than you. I'm not more important than anyone else there. Let's hear the people's voices, because it's people that make the change.
Right.
And I hate the idea that, we have to trust these people to make all the decisions. No, look, you elected them, you can unelect them if they're not listening to you.
Right.
Great.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, but let them hear what the concerns are. And so I said, hey, what do you want? They go, one lady goes, I make my money off Art Walk. Well, if this goes away, I can't make it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a livelihood for this person.
Right.
And so, and I think that our city needed to hear that and say, why is downtown development paying police officers from money that they're getting from the city to pay the police officers? Why can't we make this community thing? Why can't the city put 6 police officers in? Why can't the city
Yes.
waive the fees for the trash can and for putting up the barricades? Why can't we ask our sheriff's county department to have some inmates maybe come clean up the streets afterwards? This needs to be a community conversation, not you're responsible. So I wanted to bring everyone to the table and say, look, how do we, and I'm not saying I have the answers.
Yeah.
And I explicitly said, this is just a blueprint that I put together.
Right.
It's a starting point. Here's some ideas. Here's how we can structure it better. But
Let's have a real
but
conversation.
let's have a conversation about that.
Yeah, let's just talk. Let's get through it. I think a lot of, just last point on kind of that kind of thing is, I think that a lot of people in this town confused downtown development with the city. I think they thought they were the same person, and it's not. Downtown development is is it nonprofit?
It's a 501c6. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's a nonprofit, but it's a membership because they had members to be
Right.
for the downtown. So
yeah, downtown development is not the city.
No.
They just want to make the city better.
yeah, but they were getting paid by the 4A at the time,
Right,
which
right.
is the 4A. They make recommendations to
Yeah.
the city council of how to fund stuff. So I know there's a lot of different departments, but we have to understand how the flow through works. But the 4A is a whole different board, and they say, hey, what do we think is best to help grow our city? And so people make recommendations and put an request for RFPs, request for proposals, and they review them. They go, hey, we don't think this is going to work, or we do think it's going to work, or we think this falls in line with what we're supposed to give money out to. They make the recommendations, and then they go in front of the city council. The city council approves it, and then the people get the money. But it is not, you're right, the downtown development is not a city-run entity. Neither is the Chamber of Commerce. Right? So like, if you want to look at it, it's like having the Chamber of Commerce going, well, why didn't the Chamber of Commerce do this with the city? Like, well, because they're two separate entities. Yeah. So, and I understand people get confused. It's kind of hard to understand the maze of it, but I don't blame anyone. So what happened is it grew.
Yeah.
And so downtown development couldn't get insurance for the downtown art walk because there was no boundaries. You guys have been to art walk, man.
Of course.
People setting up tables,
Everywhere.
anywhere, right?
Right, yeah.
Everywhere and everywhere. There was no set boundaries. So how do you insure something when there's no boundaries? Like the insurance company goes, well, if there's no boundaries, if something happens, where does our liability stop? Like this street, how far does it go? Does it go all the way down to Southwest Parkway?
Yeah.
So we have to have set boundaries. So I put in a plan together to go, look, this may upset people. It's going to be a small, tighter fit. As it grows and it's self-sustaining, yeah, we can grow those boundaries. But if you want to keep it alive, we may go have a growing pain of shrinking it and confining it
Consolidating,
first. And then putting vendor fees on it, saying, look, so my proposal is every art vendor gets a free 10 by 10 space because I want to promote the artist. That's what they're there for. If you want more than one space, an artist can buy another space, but they get a free one space. Okay. Same thing, but for food vendors and other vendors, they have to pay a fee, and that fee goes to help pay for the insurance. So that way it's self-sustaining. My biggest fear is any organization that takes it on, I don't want it to become a profit-based event. I want it to be a community-based event. So I really would like another nonprofit to take the reins of it because I don't think that they're going to try to push it to say, oh, now our vendor fees are $500. It's ridiculous, right?
Which is absurd, right?
Yeah,
Nobody can make, not even a food truck can make money.
Sure,
that,
but you get what I'm saying. I want it to still have the nostalgia of what Art Walk is supposed to be, but not price them out, but still offer. And then also we need to make sure that the vendors there aren't selling crap. Like, someone is selling shoes with holes in it. Who's going to buy it? I want people to go, oh man, this is nice. This is cool.
Don't take up space doing something with a negative.
Or don't sell lead-based paint toys or
all that.
sharp knives to little kids or whatever it might be.
You know, a cool thing about Art Walk is that I think people haven't really thought about either is that let's call it at its peak. I want everybody to think about every time you went to Art Walk, did you have any problems with traffic? Did you really have any big problems with parking? No. You might have to walk a little bit, but everybody has been to, well, I don't know about everybody. A lot of people have been out of the city of Wichita Falls and have been to Dallas, Austin, San Antonio. That's just part of it.
Yeah. I've walked like half a mile just in front of parking space.
$20 and then walking a mile and a half to your spot, you probably found a good spot.
Sometimes that goes with that one theology of like, the more you have to work for it, the more that you want it. Like the whole thing about like having not enough seats for an event. Oh, there's only 20 seats when there's 30 people here. Oh, I have to stand up. That almost that mentality of like, oh man, I had to walk 5 blocks to get there. That means I need to get there early next time. Right? I need to make sure I get
the
there early.
infrastructure is there, for it to flow in and flow out. Like so many big cities have issues or stadiums that are first built. Oh, we need another over here, and they figured out like the city has been working on that kind of stuff for a long time. So to be able to just get in and get out for high volume events is something to not just kind of overlook.
And I wrote in the plan too, I showed the economic benefits of Art Walk. So I showed the 3 years and 5 years of what happened before Art Walk and 3 years and 5 years after Art Walk. And someone's called me out and goes, look, you can't attribute all that to the Art Walk growth. I'm like, I can agree with that. But if you look at the same time period, we had no new businesses coming in. The mall was actually going downhill. In fact, before Art Walk was starting, we had a negative growth rate on sales taxes. So we were actually going down. So I said, and once Art Walk started going, we saw it going up. Now, I can't say 100% of that was from Art Walk, but I can tell you a pretty good chunk of that was from Art Walk. And it's not the money made at Art Walk itself, because people are not getting sales tax for paintings. It's the money staying here. It's people, instead of going to Dallas, they're going to Art Walk. Instead of spending the money in Oklahoma City, they're spending on Art Walk,
Yeah.
and those artists and those vendors there, they live here, they have money, they get to spend and go out and go to bands, and they get to go out and go buy food and whatever it might be. So it's not the primary income; it's a secondary and on of the reuse of it's called a multiplier effect.
Right, and that's that whole part about even in that short walk from wherever you parked to the art walk, there's a very high probability you could discover some other business that you never even
On
knew
the
existed
way.
downtown.
Yeah.
Like just to plug like Maniac's Mansion is literally right there. Like
One of the
you know,
coolest things.
you walk downtown if you've lived here for 1 month and you didn't know, and you go down to the art walk, and you're like, this thing's here. This is freaking sick, dude. Like, I take my kids here.
I can't
We could
tell
have
you
a
how
good
many
time,
people go, I didn't know this business existed.
dude. I'm
with
a,
so many businesses
Yeah.
downtown.
I'm a
It's
tattoo
insane.
guy, and we'll play a show downtown. I'm like, I literally have never seen a tattoo studio in my life. Like,
Burial tattoos,
yeah,
even,
like
yeah.
never
Oh, and they're
seen that place,
fantastic.
dude.
They're
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
so like, I guess the interesting thing for me, because once again, like I'm like a very like solutions oriented person, you know, and we've been grinding really hard on our side to, you know, play good music and write good music, and you know, to just really make something of ourselves. What is it that we could do to help shift the culture here in Wichita?
Stuff like this.
Yeah.
Seriously, get a podcast, get everyone watching it, make short clips, make them want to watch it. You go, oh man, that's cool. Get them excited about what's happening, stuff that are happening in Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we're all humans. You get someone else excited. Like, if you're not excited, hey, you want to go watch Downtown Royalty? Yeah, I guess I'll go. Hey man, you want to go? Dude, they're an awesome band.
Right.
We need to get people excited about stuff. Like, yeah, oh yeah, excitement is contagious,
Right.
Yeah.
and so is apathy.
Yeah, very true. Yeah,
Absolutely.
very true.
Well said. Well
Yeah.
said. Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things I have to find myself, get myself back out every now and then to go do something, because, I've got all these things I'm trying to accomplish, but I realize like there's no point in me doing them if I'm not contributing also, so it's like, I feel like I hear you saying that there's people out there sweeping, like people that are volunteering to put the whole thing together are down there the ones sweeping the streets at night. Like, wow, dude, like I feel like if that was a conversation, be like, hey, we're reaching out to see who wants to help. Even if you get 2 people, that's 2 people that you wouldn't have had in the first place. I think
That's a big deal.
like I know myself personally, like I think that's great. Like if, dude, I don't sleep anyway. Like what's another hour of sweeping the floor to help?
A lot of people
somebody
don't
out,
know that they need to do something until you tell them, hey, you need to do this.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things, because I think that there's a lot of people in this city that would gladly be like, oh, absolutely. And they'll do it as they're going through Art Walk. It might not even be a whole cleanup team, but that's getting down to too much of it. But people want to help. There's good people around here. We don't just live with a bunch of people that are like, no, I'm not hanging out. I'm not having any fun. I'm not doing anything new.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Everyone here, I think, is craving that interaction and that entertainment and adventure. But unfortunately, as we've seen sometimes, that even when you say, okay, look, I've worked so hard on this, boom, here this is for free. I just want you to come enjoy it. They're like, yeah, man, I'll see what I'm doing on Friday night. I'll see you out there. You don't. They hit going on the event, this, that. Hey, don't stop doing that, because that helps us too. Be a part of the journey, however you can be a part of the journey, because that means a lot of things for a lot of different people. Like I said, I have family that lives a long way away. They get to enjoy a lot of who we are and what we do through what we post on the internet, what we let them see. This is what we're doing, but that doesn't mean that that's all we're doing all the time. And it's a ride with us. We're with everything that we do, we want to do exactly kind of like what you are, where we're just us and we're genuine, and this is who we are. We're not superficial. We're not making this up. We're not just doing this because this is the next thing you do. We're starting a podcast because we want to talk and we want to make a difference. And who does that? We do that. That's kind of our motto, is like we want to be the ones to figure out how it can be better, and not just sit around and ho-hum about, well, man, I wish that we had a new blah, blah. If we just had this, then we could do that. No, go out there, make it happen.
And what gets me is, you talk about rants and raves. People always complain about anything. And so every single time I want to get on there, but I don't, because I don't want everyone
I've unfollowed,
to
but
say-
I always come back.
But what I want to say is, instead of complaining about it, find a solution to fix
Show
it.
up.
No, just offer a solution.
Right.
Be the solution.
Right.
Go help.
Right.
Like, and then you'll learn, oh, okay, that's, before I complain, that's the reason why that works. So like, the whole art walk, everyone's complaining, blaming, pointing fingers. I'm like, dude, it's no one's fault. Like, it wasn't downtown's fault that they, like, okay. Whoever drove a car downtown in the middle of all the roads.
That got fucked
That's
up.
Shame
that's
on your fault.
That got
Shame
fucked
on
up.
your
It's your fault. It's your fault. You know who you are. You know who you are.
Piece of shit.
You're a jerk. So because of that, the city rightfully asked for the insurance because they're like, oh no.
Yeah.
And it was a downward thing that happened. So, but like, oh, that's the person's fault. That's the person's fault. No, it just grew. We needed better. It needs better structure, and we can't ask volunteers to work, 5 hours every night, and then have to wake up and go to work in the morning every single time and get no help and keep losing money at the same time.
Well, like you said, there's a ton of solutions, and if we as a community, like just say, like, what can we do as a community, not just artists, like what can we do as citizens here, like what can we do to make the situation more?
You want to know how
affluent,
how you can change it?
Yeah.
Don't vote for a sign. Vote for people. And I don't think I'm ever going to run again.
You should. Say it in the camera.
No, what I hate is people vote for the same people because they have the most money and the most signs, but the people who are backing them are the same people who've been backing the city for the last 60 years. And we ask why the city isn't growing? Because you're hiring the same person.
Yeah.
Don't vote for a yard sign. Go look at them. Go find out what they actually did. I hate when they say, vote for me and I will do this for you. I'm like, no. What have you already done?
Yeah.
Show me what you've actually done. Don't
You
tell
can
me
see
what
the yards of my sound when you pull up.
Don't tell me
They're
what
all-
you're
they're
going to
authentic.
do. Show me by your actions of what you've actually done.
Yeah.
That you've helped the community. That you did it when no one else is looking because you care about other people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what pisses me off. And we keep voting for the same kind of people because honestly, we're
comfortable.
apathetic. We're like, okay, well, that name keeps coming up, so I guess he's a good guy.
I did it before, and they haven't gotten taken out of office yet.
Things aren't bad, I guess.
So vote for, like, if you really want to change it, vote for someone who cares.
Yeah.
Vote. I want, and what happens is the people who actually care don't run. We've dissuaded good people
Yes.
from never wanting to run. Because like, I don't want to get into politics, all that backstabbing.
Well, look what you just said. It's like don't be a victim of that. Like, we want to inspire you to keep fighting the good fight too.
Yeah.
We want to fight together on both sides of it.
And man, if you never run again, like I said, I would understand. I said, but like it was so inspiring to see you when you went out there and did it. It's because you care. You genuinely care.
I spent $800 of my own money.
Yeah.
I lost by 41 votes to a guy who spent over $100,000 of other people's money. And I like the guy. I'm not
Sure.
But how do we always complain about Washington and all these PACs and all these lobbyists. It starts here.
Right. Everything does.
It starts
Right.
here and how you vote. How can you complain about that when we're doing the same thing? And that's why I said, look, I am not taking a penny. In my campaign, I said, anyone who wants to give me money, give it to the food bank.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
I think I raised like $12,000 total. I'm not sure. I had people say I gave money, but I'm not sure who actually did. But some people said, no, I give $1,000 in your name. And so there was a bunch of people who gave. And I'm like, look, that's great, but I will never be bought.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way it should be run. It should be done by who cares and who's going to do the right thing.
Right.
Not
The
because
next
their
right
buddies
thing.
there, not
Yeah.
because they owe favors. What's the right thing? And sometimes the right thing hurt people's feelings. And if,
Ain't that the truth? Say it louder for the people in the back.
And I'm not intentional for that. I'm like, look, this is more important. This is what needs to be taken care of first. And yes, I understand that you want help too, but you're not in need.
Yeah.
And that's not going to help Wichita Falls grow. And that's what frustrated me so much. I'm
Yeah.
like, and even though I lost, I love that I saw signs, handmade signs,
Grassroots signs everywhere.
Grassroots signs.
They were the
everywhere,
best.
People were sending me pictures of Sam Pack, and then people were like, "Well, you needed to turn that into the ethics committee." I'm like, it didn't say vote for it. It didn't say paid by. I didn't pay for them. They used cardboard boxes from their house, and they
Right.
made it.
That's called free
Right.
will, man.
Yeah,
You can do whatever you want.
Try to stop me,
Do
dude.
whatever
I'm
you
trying to
want.
stop them. Like, well, like, people were getting upset. Like, well, you can't do it. Like, I'm not doing it. They're doing it on their own.
Yeah.
The people did it.
Oh, I inspired people to do what they thought was the right thing, and I think that's such a great and positive mentality, man. I can only hope that if you don't run, that there's some guy that you can mentor and show him what needs to be done, and it
There's some
elevates
great
you, you know?
people. I wish I could just tell them like just run, like, but I can't guarantee their win because someone always has a bigger pocketbook. And there's people in this town that have big pocketbooks that want their stuff the way they want it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we can get the word out and get everyone to listen, because guess what? Those rich people have the same vote as you do.
Yeah.
Right.
Same, or me. I'm not saying they're poor, but I don't have $10 million to throw or $100,000 to give to someone to run a campaign.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, I think kind of like the spirit of what we're talking about and kind of have been is like a fundamental change in mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like going from like, I think it's a funny anecdote, and obviously like correlation doesn't equal causation, but like, did you know, fun fact, that like in 1950, Fort Worth and Wichita Falls had the same population?
Yeah.
That's a fact. Now, obviously correlation doesn't equal causation.
Sure.
So there's a whole lot of, but it's really funny to think like fast forward 70 years and like our population hasn't changed. Fort Worth is Fort Worth, you know what I mean? Obviously proximity to Dallas and all that, but like we haven't changed. And it seems like a lot of things haven't changed. And I think it's really time that some people step up and say, you know what, man, I'm not going to take the path of least resistance. I'm going to do the next right thing. I'm going to be a trailblazer. I'm going to stick my neck out on the line, and I'm going to try to effectuate some sort of real change here. And, you know, in some small way, like what we're doing, you know, like we take the path of most resistance in everything we do. We are an original rock band that is not just based in Wichita Falls, Texas, but like we love this city.
I want you guys to be international, worldwide.
Working
So,
on
look,
it.
we came to Wichita Falls. We made it. Awesome things are happening out of Wichita Falls.
Nothing makes
and-
me happier like when we see some of the airmen come out of town, that are from another country, and they sit around and they watch our band the whole time, and like we sit there, I look and they're like looking at our band on their phone, and like they're like dude, thank you so much. We've been looking for something to do.
Yeah.
We've been coming to this place. We've seen a couple good bands. You guys are so great, and then we go back and look at our metrics. And these people are still listening to our music from that region of the world years later.
Speaking of that, by the way, by the time this comes out, our first international publication will be have made in Germany, a publication called Sonic Realm. Really cool. We'll post it, and I think I'm going to post it on Thursday, but it'll be
Link in the comments.
It'll be after this comes out, but it's really cool to see some because we get well over 1,000 streams a month in Germany.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is really
That's
neat.
awesome.
That's
really
enough people to
special.
show up to a show.
Yeah.
Really neat.
But are they all in the same place?
I don't know, dude. I don't
Alice has
know.
always said that he
Believe it or
wants
not-
to be as big in Europe as the United
Well,
States, if
I-
not bigger.
I-
Be the David Hasselhoff.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
right. That's
well,
right.
you know, like as it stands right now, like not to toot our own horns, but like we've done a lot of work and made a lot of like really high quality content and music, and obviously you've been doing our due diligence in promoting and marketing. But like I think right now we're around just over 17,000 monthly listeners on Spotify,
That
which
is
is
awesome.
which is a really cool deal, man.
Yeah.
But you know, so we'll be in this German publication, and it's really cool to have to hit translate on Google, you know, to like read an article.
gotta read
Where,
it.
by the way, this dude is just absolutely in love with
I
our
wonder
music.
if AI will start doing the metrics and start saying famous people's names. Justin Timberlake.
Come on, JT.
Just so that way it'll start getting
Yeah.
with some famous people.
But like you said, man, like our goal and
Come on, computer work.
our goal and our intention is not to, you know, become the next local legends that host open mics. No knock against anyone that does, but our goal and our intentions is to be that band that made it big and has an international presence. And by the way, did it right here in Wichita Falls. Came back to Wichita Falls and never left Wichita Falls.
And that gave Sam Pack a backstage pass to all the shows.
And supported his next run. No, but like in all honesty, man, like I think like what you have done, and even if you pulled up short last time, I think there's no reason that you wouldn't pull up short next
So
time.
I actually won the general election. I had the most
then they did a
votes. Yeah,
runoff,
I did.
right?
But what happened, because there were 3 candidates and I didn't have 51%,
Oh,
we ran again. But the turnout for the second one
yes, that's what I remember.
was super low because
Yeah,
no one came
no
out for the runoff.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, everyone thought I already, because I won by like, I don't know, a couple, like 2,000-3,000 or something.
Yeah.
But then the runoff, they go, oh, we already thought you won. And people are like, congratulations. Like, no, I didn't win. Like, no, we voted for you. I'm like, you didn't vote for me. You had to do it twice.
Two
Right.
times. You had to vote twice.
So even if you pull up short last time because of some bullshit, that's fine. I'll call it what it is. But, I think the spirit that you're embodying and the spirit that we're embodying is the very same spirit that we want to see other people embody. And that is, hey, man, let's do the next right thing. Let's really put our head down. Let's grow, not just the economic aspect of the city, which is important, but also like the cultural aspect of the city. I think it's really interesting. I was watching Joe Rogan, AI. I was watching Joe Rogan, and he had Matthew McConaughey on. Matthew McConaughey is like,
McConaughey?
yeah, all right. But
Who else is on that show?
Jamie, pull that up. No,
Jamie, pull the clip.
he like just labeled himself like the cultural ambassador to Austin, which is like a really cool fucking thing for this dude to just do because he loves Austin. And he's a guy who's like made it to this international level. And I think, we just need a lot of people that look at themselves in the mirror and go like, how can I be a cultural ambassador for this town? How can I be an economic ambassador for
Great
this
thing
town?
to say. Who's our cultural ambassador in this town?
Right.
That's a great thing to
yeah.
say.
Well, my whole goal of everything that we do is we don't punch down, we don't punch up. I believe that, my hope in everything that we do is to raise the floor and the ceiling.
Yeah.
And so, I always like to say a rising tide raises all ships. There's a lot of talent in Wichita Falls, man. There's a lot of really good people, really good musicians, really good artists. And my hope is that by showing them that we can do it, you can do it. And not just that, but like I'm the first person to be able to extend a hand. Like, do you want me
We
to show
can
you?
all succeed together.
Do you want me to show you exactly how I did this?
Sure.
Exactly how we did this?
Yeah.
Dude, I will fucking do it because
Okay.
I believe in not just raising the ceiling for us, but raising the floor and the ceiling for everyone here.
Yeah.
And to me, I've lived here for 13 years, so I wasn't born here, but I certainly kind of feel like a local at this point. And I've got a tremendous amount of love for this city. And I also see, like when I joined this band, spoiler, I had been through a really kind of messed up situation before I was in this band, and I actually quit playing drums, like completely. And so I started teaching myself how to play guitar, and I told everyone around me that I play music with, don't ever call my name for a drummer again. But I told one person, and not even related to these guys, if there's one band I'd play for, it's Downtown Royalty. Because they opened for Wet Jet when I played with Wet Jet, and I was like, these guys fucking rule.
Yeah.
It's just if they had a little bit of a better drummer, like I think they could.
We thought so too.
I think they could make it. So, anyways,
If we had Falls in little tight shorts.
he still wears them for me.
Yeah.
I
but-
still wear them from time to time. Depends on the season, you know what I'm saying?
But I told so Michael ended up reaching out to me, and he's like, hey, you want to come listen to some music with me and whatever. And so that's kind of, it was like kind of history since that point. But the whole thing is, when I joined this band, I sat here with these guys and heard the music they had recorded and the music that they were working on that they hadn't recorded yet, and I was like, dude, there's so much potential and so much upside here that like it's off the charts. And in the same way, I look at the city of Wichita Falls and go like, dude, there is so much upside and so much potential here. All it takes is for some people to look at each other and go like, hey man, like I'm not quitting. Are you quitting? No, not at all. So
I was supposed to work tonight.
Right. It's
Yeah, until like
sorry.
5-10 minutes before the
So
thing.
it's
I was
like-
like, no, I want to be here for that.
So it's like, so what are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
You know what it takes economically. I know what it takes culturally. You can't effectuate culture if you don't build the community, right? So how do we build this community so that we can effectuate not just the culture, artistically and musically, and make this like a vibrant, thriving place to be, but also economically, the infrastructure, everything that goes with that, man. And I think that it's going to take people like us and other artists and people like you, and I really hope you run for mayor. No, just kidding. Sorry, Tim Short. I don't even know
I
you,
like
brother.
Tim.
Tim's been doing great.
I don't
like
even
a
know,
lot
man.
of people, but there's a lot of people I do not like. But I like Tim. I think
Yeah.
he's
done really,
nice,
really
great-
good things,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Well, I'd like to have him on too. Sit
No.
down and talk. Like,
Yeah,
hey man,
come
like,
see us, Tim.
yeah, hey man, because like once again, like our heart, all of our hearts is for this city. It's for the music we play and this and that. But like, you had said something the other earlier about how business is done by, hey, you want to go play golf?
Yeah.
And there's this like this line I always remember from The Office, where someone says to Michael Scott, they're like, hey man, don't take it personally, it's just business. and he says business is the most personal thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I've like always taken that to heart because it's like, once again, like you could academically draw out the rubric for what something looks like, and like, well, if you technically do this, this, and this, it's like, dude, it's a pat on the back, and it's like, hey, dude, let's go. You know, it's shaking someone's hand and being like, hey, man, let's make this thing work. How do we figure this thing out? It's getting in front of people and it's showing them that, look, you're authentic. You sit across from someone and shake their hand, like they can tell real quick who you are.
I agree. I 100% agree. You can also shake your hand across the table and see someone who's so fake, and I'm just like,
Oh my
Yeah, you can
gosh.
sniff it.
Yeah.
yeah. They'll smile at you, say the right words, and you turn around, they're like,
Yeah.
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 It's an unfortunate part of that side of it all.
Yeah. Anyway, but how can we change? Here's what I would say. Every single one of us, everyone watching, us included, get excited about stuff.
Right.
Like I'm telling you, like I said earlier, excitement is contagious. Hey, I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna go to this.
Yeah.
You know, like you're a kid opening a present. Oh man, I can't wait to open this
Man,
present.
can't wait to get home. Yeah.
Yeah. And your parents are sitting there smiling because they're excited. They already know what's in the box. 'Cause
Right.
Yeah,
They're still stoked.
but they're excited because you're excited. Excitement is contagious. But if you, this place sucks. That also is contagious. Well, yeah, this place sucks too. No, we've got to change our attitudes. We've got to be a little bit more positive. We've got to be excited.
And I think myself personally, like I've always tried to be that guy. Like, I don't think this place sucks at all. I think it's not as
There's
busy.
so much to do.
I don't think it's as busy as some people would like it to be. But like then go down the street until it gets that way. You've got to
If
show
you're
up
not
and be a part of
busy,
it.
spend some time with me.
Yeah.
Follow me at all my stuff I do. I'm telling you, I stay stupid busy. I'm tired.
It is. We do have a cool place and a good town and cool people and good things happening. It was just like, for me, it was such a like a left field thing, dude. Like the one thing, in my time of living, that I've seen change an area was the art walk. I was like, what are we thinking right now, dude? Like, and all the good festivals that we had downtown. Like, why would you think about taking away a single one of those? And I understand that, like, we're saying earlier, there's things that are involved that make those things safe for everybody. Well, then do it.
Yeah,
Let's figure out how to do it. And not just get on every page and complain. Bring a solution. Have a good idea. Volunteer your time. Like I'm sitting here thinking like, all right, dude. The second a list comes out, I'm putting the band on there, and we're all showing up, dude.
Dude, I had 45,000 views on the Art Walk comment. 45,000 views. I had like 60 people show up. Like, everyone was like, yes, we need this to happen.
That's a classic band event, man. We just don't have 45,000. We have 45. All right.
Yeah. I was like, where was half that? Where was 20,000 people outside going, we need to put pressure on anyone in the decision-making process to make the right decisions. I don't want to hurry anyone. I don't want it to be bad. I want it to be done properly, but I want them to understand the importance of it.
Right.
Like, we cannot let this stop.
This sounds The Little Red Hen, man. You ever read that childhood book, The Little Red Hen? Check it out sometime. But it's basically saying like, well, who will plant this weed? Who will do this? Who will do this? And everyone's like, oh no, I can't. I'm tired. And it's like, oh, now the cake's finished. Like, who wants to enjoy this cake? And they're like, oh, I do. It's the same thing with the art walk. And the funny thing is, she says, nope, I'm going to enjoy this all by myself. We don't need to be like that, but we need to still have that giving mentality. But we can't just sit around and be like, man, I wish art walk. What happened to art walk? It was so cool, when no one's willing to be proactive about what needs to be done to keep it going. Instead of ho-humming about a potential vendor fee or something like that, see the growth that it can create. Like even within our own, relate it back to the band, we have kind of some internal debates, I wouldn't say necessarily disagreements, where it's like, how much money should we put into marketing? And the answer is a lot more than I ever thought. And I'm grateful that I lost some of the arguments that I did, because you have to invest to get a return, and a lot of people just want to get that return of, oh, this is so cool. Well, no, this happens because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Once again, shout out to everybody at Downtown Development that worked so hard for so many years and did so much and created so many good things. And that fire and the hub, when that was going, and it's creating that look, there is something to do here. You know, there is that fire here, and it burns bright. But you've got to show up. You know, you have to show up.
And sometimes you have to do the work even because you care, not because what you're going to get paid for.
No, it's not about
because
getting
of
paid.
Status. Just do it because you know how many times I've cleaned the streets in the middle of the night for different events at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning with me and one other guy just clean the streets. Just do it because you care, because you saw a bunch of kids' faces smiling earlier that day.
Yeah.
So I encourage everyone to volunteer. And people go, well, Sam, you're kind of known in the community. Like, I'm not super rich. I'm not famous. The reason why people know me is because I volunteer and I help. And people go, oh, well, he's doing it because he cares. And so people know that about me. And so care.
Right.
Go do something. Care. Do it just because it's the right thing to do, not because you want a pat on the back. And so I encourage people to volunteer and to help. And I think that's one of the greatest things about Wichita Falls is there are really good people here. We've got a lot of nonprofits here that have that help a lot of people. And this community cannot make it, because I alluded to it earlier. We have a lower median household income than a lot of other cities in Texas, but we do it because other people give and other people volunteer.
Yeah.
This is a community, and I really do feel like Wichita Falls is a community. I guarantee you, even you, there's 1 degree separation between you and anyone else I can pick in Wichita Falls.
Oh, absolutely.
I guarantee you there's one person in common that you guys know.
Of course, yeah.
So we are a family. I hate, everyone says we're family.
Yeah, it's like cliche, but it's sometimes
Fast
it's the
and Furious,
truth.
We're family.
Yeah, family.
No, but,
Well, we said that here.
Fast and Furious AI.
yeah, Fast and Furious.
Vin Diesel.
No, but
We just become
there's
best
1
friends.
degree separate. It's not like in Dallas where you can walk and not meet anyone and not know anyone. I guarantee you we have that here. So I do feel that Wichita Falls has a little bit of that connectiveness, but we also have some bad people too. I'm not saying that, but there's a lot of good.
Yeah. I feel like the running a business myself personally, and interacting with people regularly, you do meet so many just kind people. Like,
Pure people too.
It's not a bad place to be at all, man. We just need to reinvigorate the people that want to do good things and make them get out their house and have a good attitude.
Well,
All
Sam,
right.
That being
Anything
said,
thanks-
else you guys want
thanks
to
for
talk
hanging out with us,
about?
and
Yeah, that was fun.
we'll see you guys on the next one.
peace.
Later.
Peace.